that we need to continue to stand strong to defend everybody's rights and freedoms.
Hey guys, how you doing today? Hey, came out here today because I've been waiting all week because today was supposed to be sunny. That don't look sunny to me. But I decided I'm coming out here anyway. And then I get out here and the wind whipping off that lake. It's like those snowmobilers in the distance over there. It's just nuts. I guess that's why the parasailer dude was there. So I'm gonna stand right here out of the wind. So this way you can actually hear what I have to say instead of me talking over the wind. So let's talk about finances for a minute, okay? Krista Freeland, solved our inflationary problems with her, cancel Disney. Thanks, Krista. You're just the most amazing finance minister ever. You saved inflation in Canada by telling us to cancel Disney. But I have other questions, okay? And it kind of ties in with a bunch of different things, okay? Let's start with just transition. Okay, Trudeau telling the oil industry to just transition. Transition to what? Exactly. Okay, you want to end our oil industry? That's fine. Okay, I have issues with that, but let's go on that premise. Okay, you want to end the oil industry in Canada? Okay. Have you told the Canadian people that this generates $2 billion a year in revenue for Canada? Okay, for the government of Canada. $2 billion a year. Okay. There are 300,000 workers, indirect positions of the oil industry. I'm not talking about the spin-off jobs, the people making the pipes and all that jazz. I'm talking about people that actually work in the oil industry in Canada. There are 300,000 jobs. Okay? The average job goes from 59,000 to 100 and some odd thousand per year. Okay? There's another industry in Canada that consumes more than $2 billion, has 300,000 employees. Well, it does now. Has 335,000 employees. Generates no income for Canada. It actually consumes income of taxpayer money, and causes hardship for Canadians. It's called the federal government. Direct employees of the federal government. There are 335,000 employees under the government. Okay? So if you're going to tell 300,000 tax-paying employees to just transition, how about we just transition the federal government employees? How do you feel about that? How do you feel about somebody coming along and saying you can't work for the federal government of Canada because they have to transition? If you're a government employee, let me know what you think. I want to hear your opinions. Okay? You're telling Canadians they need to just transition. Well, the federal government right now is toxic for the Canadian public. Therefore, we should just transition the Canadian government employees to just transition. But let's talk about something else. So I said this was about finance, right? So I'm just showing how we could save, that $2 billion that you're about to rip out of our economy, out of the federal government's coffers. Well, for some reason, you didn't stop there. Just this week, Krista Freeland. Actually, I think it was just yesterday. I don't remember what day I read it now because I'm kind of like in a fog. Actually, I'm pretty sure it was just yesterday she said it. She claims that now the Bank of Canada can retain its profits in order to offset its losses. Wait a minute. Do you realize what that actually means? Okay? The Bank of Canada, okay, generates between $1 and $2 billion for the federal government revenue. Okay, this money goes directly into general revenues for the federal government. $1 to $2 billion. Okay? At the same time, you're telling veterans last year that they can't, they ask for too much. They want too much. You can't afford it. Yet you send $5 billion to Ukraine. You're about to send how many tanks to Ukraine? I think you think it's 10, but with the possibility of up to 30. Hey, Canada's military isn't that big. I could be mistaken on the exact numbers here. Just don't quote me on it, but it's generally it's a decent number out of our stocks that you want to send over there. But yet you're stripping Canada of its revenue sources. How the hell are we supposed to afford this? I thought you were a finance minister. Oh yeah, you're a reporter that works for the WEF. You're not a finance minister. I almost forgot. You know nothing about finances. Just like you know nothing about Canada and Canadians. Just transition out of our government, please. Oh, and as I walk away, I remember one little detail that I actually meant to say in there about the federal government employees. Yes, we are 335,000 employees. Did you know back in 2010 there were only 255,000? And they were on a decline from that point until 2015, at which point steadily every year we've increased the employees of the federal government till now, when we're at the highest point we've ever been at 335,000 employees. I forgot that little part. Thought I'd throw it in at the end here. Sorry about that. Welcome to the Fringe.